If you constantly feel a heavy, unsettled rock in your stomach after eating a clean meal, or hear a strange night gurgle while trying to sleep, you are not just aging. New research suggests over 14% of adults are silently carrying intestinal parasites and microscopic plastic shards physically clinging to their gut wall. Everything you have been told about digestive decline is a dangerous half-truth. It is not a biological error. It is an environmental poisoning. Centuries of traditional ecological healers and centenarian physicians knew this. They lived past 90 with zero modern digestive diseases. They understood the human gut is not a mysterious black box. It is a highly calibrated mechanical engine. When was the last time your stomach was completely silent after a meal? If it is gurgling, it is fighting. There is one ordinary seed sitting in your pantry right now that ancient warriors used not for calories, but as a biological solvent to force these intruders to let go. We will get to that exact protocol in a moment. But the real nightmare is not just that these invaders are inside you. It is how they are physically dismantling your digestive machinery from the inside out. In clinical terms, it is parasitic and synthetic bioaccumulation. In mechanical terms, it is Micro-Adhesion Bio-Sludge. Imagine your intestinal tract as a high-performance filtration pump. It relies on smooth, rhythmic contractions called peristalsis to move waste and absorb fuel. Now look closer. A parasite does not just float through the system. It has physical hooks. It bites into the mucosal lining like a barnacle welding itself to a ship hull. At the exact same time, jagged shards of microscopic plastics enter the system. They are petroleum shrapnel. They embed themselves deeply into the soft tissue. The body responds to this foreign invasion with systemic wildfire. The tissue swells. It hardens. It crystallizes. Your flexible, permeable membrane now has the elasticity of a rigid ceramic pipe. This structural damage creates immense mechanical friction. Your natural digestive pump grinds against the sludge. The engine overheats and misfires. You feel this physical friction as the sudden afternoon energy crash. The persistent bloating. That heavy rock sitting just below your ribs. Your body is trying to force hydraulic pressure through a severely clogged pipe. Centenarian physicians observed this mechanical failure generations ago, mapping exactly how parasitic friction stops nutrient absorption at the cellular level. This is why your standard advice fails. Eating a massive bowl of raw vegetables to clear your gut is completely useless against this specific threat. Fiber alone is like dragging a feather duster over a glued-down barnacle. It simply slides over the top of the sludge. It does not break the grip. You are consuming a credit card worth of microplastics every single week. Read that metric again. An entire credit card of synthetic plastic, entering your fuel supply, lodging into your tissue. The worst part? You might be actively feeding this sludge right now with a seemingly harmless hydration habit you do every single morning. To break their grip, you do not need more bulk. You need a very specific biological solvent. And it is sitting in your kitchen right now. That solvent is raw pumpkin seeds. They contain a highly targeted chemical compound called cucurbitacin. This is not traditional folklore. It is hard chemistry. Cucurbitacin acts as a biological paralyzing agent. When it hits the digestive tract, it functions as a localized neurotoxin exclusively for the invaders. It chemically shuts down their primitive nervous systems. The paralysis is immediate. The biological hooks release their grip on your intestinal wall. The rust detaches from the pipe. The sludge loses its structural integrity. The dosage is exact and non-negotiable. You require 1 to 2 tablespoons daily. You must consume them first thing in the morning on a completely empty stomach. Stop. Do not swallow these whole. If you do not crush them, they pass through your system like useless gravel. You must physically fracture the cell walls of the seed by thoroughly chewing them or grinding them in a mortar. This mechanical breakdown releases the active cucurbitacin solvent. Pair them with a single glass of warm water or raw honey. This acts as a rapid transport vehicle, driving the compound deep into the lower intestine where the sludge accumulates. To amplify the solvent, add half a teaspoon of crushed, dried papaya seeds. They contain papain and potent alkaloids that aggressively degrade the outer structural defense of the parasites. Follow this with 1 small crushed clove of raw garlic. The allicin inside acts as an anticorrosive, neutralizing the toxic exhaust left behind by the dying invaders. Once the parasites are paralyzed and the plastic is dislodged, you must flush the pipe. Western medicine often suggests psyllium husk. But there is a far superior, highly accessible alternative for this exact mechanism. Basil seeds, known as Sabja. When exposed to water, the outer cellular matrix of the seed expands, producing a dense mucilage layer. Think of it as a heavy hydraulic gel cushion. As this gel travels through your gastrointestinal tract, it acts as a localized vacuum. It traps the paralyzed parasites. It binds to the loose microplastic shrapnel. It lubricates the entire length of the pipe, reducing friction to zero, and forces the biological debris out of your system. But none of this works if you continually sabotage the engine. The plastic water bottle you use to take your morning vitamins is fueling the exact villain you are trying to kill. Drinking bottled water from soft, single-use plastics reintroduces microscopic structural clogs straight back into your freshly cleaned fuel tank. The same applies to hot foods wrapped in commercial plastic packaging. Heat accelerates the leaching of petroleum byproducts directly into your food supply. You are pouring liquid plastic straight into your internal filtration pump. Stop feeding the sludge. Once you stop feeding the sludge and start dissolving the friction, a profound mechanical shift happens in your body. Imagine waking up 7 days from now. Your stomach is entirely flat. The heavy stagnation is gone. You consume a meal, and your digestive engine processes it with silent, ruthless efficiency. You experience boundless, stable energy through the afternoon because your internal pump is running clean. No friction. No misfires. Listen closely to your stomach tonight as you lie in bed. Notice the night gurgle. It is the sound of an engine fighting a losing battle against invaders. In a few days, that noise will disappear. Your digestive decline is not a destiny of aging. It is simply a clogged machine waiting to be cleared. You possess a self-cleaning mechanism capable of unparalleled restoration, provided you remove the interference. But clearing the pipe is only the first phase. The microplastics have already scratched the Teflon coating of your gut lining. In the next protocol, we dismantle the one breakfast food that prevents those microscopic scratches from healing, keeping you in a state of chronic systemic wildfire. It sits in 90% of kitchens,